Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Please like and subscribe for more football updates. Our today news is Liverpool news. Reds release injury statement as Trent Alexander-Arnold rejects offer. Liverpool have seen updates on the injury and transfer fronts during the international break, with Arne Slot focused on bringing Premier League success to Anfield in the coming weeks. The international break is just about halfway done, and Liverpool boss Arne Slot will have his mind firmly focused on the return of the Premier League. The Dutchman has been without his squad, and has the task of facing Everton in the Merseyside derby when domestic football returns. The Reds entered the break off the back of defeats to Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle that have ensured the Premier League now remains the club's only avenue for success. 9 games remain in the division to convert their healthy 12-point lead into a 20th domestic crown to mark Slot's debut season in style. Slot has already seen an addition to his injury concerns in the shape of Ryan Gravenberch, who has pulled out of the Netherlands squad. He will be hoping for a clean bill of health between now and next weekend. Here, Mirror Football takes a look at the latest news from in and around Anfield. Trent Alexander-Arnold's future remains up in the air as his Liverpool contract ticks down until the end of the season. Real Madrid remains a potential destination after the Reds knocked back offers in January about another Spanish giant are said to have tried their chance. Reports in Spain suggest Barcelona have sounded out the Liverpool vice-captain ahead of him becoming available for free in the summer but were knocked back. The fullback's mind is said to be firmly on making the move to Madrid. Alexander-Arnold is already said to know his salary and that a long-term contract awaits at the Bernabeu. The free transfer is all but done, it is claimed. Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson has withdrawn from the Brazil squad after a sickening clash of heads during the match against Colombia. The shot-stopper collided with former Spurs star Davinson Sanchez during a World Cup qualifying match on Thursday. Alisson was substituted in the 78th minute and Liverpool have confirmed that their play will fly back to Merseyside. A statement from the club on Friday read, Alisson Becker has departed the Brazil national team setup and will return to Liverpool. The goalkeeper was forced off in the second half of his nation's World Cup qualifier with Colombia in the early hours of Friday following a collision. Alisson is travelling back to Merseyside and will undergo assessment from the Reds medical staff. Stay tuned for all the latest updates, reactions, and transfer news from Anfield. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Liverpool content. Our second news is Liverpool issue injury update on Alisson after sickening clash of heads in Brazil match. Alisson was at the heart of a horrible clash on international duty with Brazil, and Liverpool have now issued an update on the strict goalkeeper with a week remaining of the international break. Liverpool star Alisson has withdrawn from the Brazil squad after a sickening clash of heads in their match with Colombia. The goalkeeper collided with former Spurs star Davinson Sanchez during a World Cup qualifying match on Thursday. Both of the players, who remained conscious, had to be substituted off the pitch in the 78th minute. And further checks will now be undertaken to evaluate their welfare, with Liverpool confirming that Alisson is set to fly back to Merseyside. A statement from Liverpool on Friday read, Alisson Becker has departed the Brazil national team setup and will return to Liverpool. The goalkeeper was forced off in the second half of his nation's World Cup qualifier with Colombia in the early hours of Friday following a collision. Alisson is travelling back to Merseyside and will undergo assessment from the Reds medical staff. Speaking after the game, Brazil Dr. Rodrigo Losmar said, Alisson suffered a head injury. He was replaced due to a suspected concussion, so now we will follow the protocol recommended by the CBF. He will undergo the recommended imaging tests. First, we will perform a CT scan, followed by a diffusion MRI. If all the tests are negative and normal, we will then perform a cognitive test, and then we will evaluate the player. If everything is normal, we will conduct a series of observation tests over the next few days to see whether or not he would be able to travel with us and go to Argentina for our next game. Losmar also said, today, the first step is to perform the necessary tests and assessments and monitor the player over the next few days, which is the protocol. Alisson is normal. I believe you saw the images of him on the bench and after the game. He is completely normal now, without any complaints. During the treatment on the field, he did not report any fainting or memory loss. He was conscious and oriented the whole time. We substituted him because he had minor complaints. He thought he was a little slower and there was some possibility of a concussion, so in cases of this suspicion, the recommendation is to substitute the player. Liverpool will sweat over the fitness of their goalkeeper as they aim to claim the Premier League title after the international break. The Reds have been hit with a number of issues heading into the final few fixtures of the campaign, particularly in defense. Stay tuned for all the latest updates, reactions, and transfer news from Anfield. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Liverpool content. Our last news is Mohamed Salah sent stark warning over two of his Liverpool teammates. Mohamed Salah is enjoying his best ever season in front of goal for Liverpool, but club legend John Barnes thinks Virgil van Dijk and Dominic Szoboszlai could pip him to prizes. Liverpool legend John Barnes has told Mohamed Salah that he needs to keep the accelerator down until the end of the season if he wants to scoop personal awards. Salah is enjoying a remarkable campaign for Liverpool, who are poised to claim the Premier League title. The Egyptian star has contributed 32 goals and 22 assists in just 43 matches so far this season and has already ensured his most prolific season in a Liverpool shirt. His consistency at the top end of the pitch has been key to Arne Slot's side taking a 12-point lead in the Premier League title race, and Salah should lift the trophy for the second time in his career. That is Liverpool's only remaining goal this season after they lost the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle, were dumped out of the Champions League by Paris Saint-Germain and exited the FA Cup at the hands of Plymouth. But as well as the Premier League trophy, Salah will have one eye on individual recognition. Former Liverpool winger Barnes thinks that, while Salah is ahead of the chasing pack, he isn't guaranteed Player of the Year awards. Speaking to Poker Scout, he name-checked captain Virgil van Dijk and midfielder Dominic Szoboszlai as alternatives. When asked who the contenders were, Barnes said, "It really depends on what happens between now and the end of the season. I know players who have won the Player of the Season, because they've done well between March and May. They may not have done well before, but of course, that's what we remember, that's the freshest information. When the end of the season comes, we think about who's done well and who's doing well. Rather than thinking, well, they did really well up until January, but then of course between March and May they didn't, so it really depends on what happens between now and the end of the season." From Liverpool you have to look at the last 2 or 3 matches, and Salah hasn't done much, and if he continues to do that maybe he won't win it. It's hard to look beyond Liverpool players when thinking about the contenders because they've been the best team in the league and the most consistent team. Mo hasn't impressed me more than others. Szoboszlai has impressed me. Virgil has been really good. It has been a really good team performance. From the end of the season, it really depends on who has done well. The whole Liverpool team has been fantastic. I'd give Virgil more of a chance to be named Player of the Season because of what he's actually done. Up until this point, he's been our most consistent performer. Thank you. That's all for today's transfer update. But the transfer window never sleeps, and neither do we. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer news.